So, you want to talk investments? Let's get money smart. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and to another video. I'm so excited to bring to you the first video of my series called Let's Get Money Smart, where I offer some tips, tricks, inside secrets to becoming a more financially independent and savvy version of yourself. So I thought today's video could start off with the very basics, kind of looking at the big picture of what happens when you get your first paycheck, where does it go, and how do you use it. For a lot of us, our first summer job, our internship, part-time job, or even full-time job can be such an exciting time because it's the first time we got that financial independence, spend however we want, go out and splurge with our friends on that sushi dinner. But I think there are quite a few key things to know as we're navigating that transition from being a dependent to an independent. Before we get this video really started, I just want to make a disclaimer that I'm not speaking from a certified financial advisor position, but really just from my own personal experience navigating my 20s, things that I've kind of learned along the way, and speaking with my friends and family about their experience as well. So all of my advice with a grain of salt, because it really depends on your position, your stage in life, financial goals, or whether you're focused on the short or long term. But regardless, I hope you find some of these tips in the video helpful and things to keep in mind. Grab your pen and paper, if people even still use those things anymore. The first thing we need to do is altering our mentality. Our paycheck is not our golden ticket to an all-out shopping spree.
You may bring one person with you, but no one else. Charlie, you've done it!
Although that would be pretty cool. Instead, every single dollar has its purpose and its place. So try to maximize the utility of every single dollar that you worked so hard to earn. Whether that's paying for your rent, paying off student debt, everyday groceries and living expenses, saving up for that vacation that you want to go to, or saving up for retirement. So all of your dollars kind of go into these individual niches and buckets. After we've kind of changed our mentality, that's where we really get the ball rolling. I really do believe that financial freedom and independence comes from being financially savvy and knowledgeable.
Phenomenal cosmic power!
Let's see the journey of our paycheck. The first place I think your paycheck goes to is your 401k. This really applies for people who just started out in their new job, but a quick definition for you, a 401k is essentially a tax-advantaged defined contribution retirement account that is offered by a lot of employers to their employees. An employee can make a contribution to their 401k through an automatic withdrawal system. What's actually so cool about 401ks is that a lot of employers will offer a matching program, which basically means they will match dollar for dollar up to a certain percent of the total amount that you contribute to your 401k. For a quick example, let's say you put $100 into your 401k and your employer offers a 5% match. That means for every $100 that you put in, your employer will give you $5 additional. So your total investable base is $105. That's basically free money for you to use to invest. I highly recommend, if you have the financial capacity and bandwidth or flexibility to do so, to max out your 401 contribution. You have a broader base of investable capital, which gives you the ability, 1, to grow your assets faster, and 2, to leverage the power of compound interest. One key thing to note about your 401k contribution is that your investment earnings will not be taxed until you withdraw your money at retirement. Make sure to contact your HR department and kind of look at the terms and conditions to be able to qualify for a 401. The second big chunk of where your paycheck goes, unfortunately, is taxes. I remember getting my first paycheck from my first internship and I was like, holy moly, I'm free! But when it finally arrived to my checking account, the number was smaller and quite different from what I expected. And when I asked my parents, they're like, oh, taxes, that's why. Finally, we kind of reached the heart and soul of where your money lies and stays. A lot of people actually have two kinds of accounts. One is a checking and another is a savings. A checking, you can basically equate it to a spending account. An account for your everyday expenditures in terms of paying for your bills, your groceries, going out to eat with your friends, to the movies, fees, money that is accessible and on hand. Typically, you don't earn any interest in a checking account. The best types are the ones that have very low to minimum monthly fees, or at least ones that can be easily deducted. The second type that I mentioned is a savings account. Like the name indicates, it's about saving your money for the long haul. And the idea is to be able to store money with a bank in a safe place and not have to worry about it, but also potentially earning some interest. With a savings account, you actually have a monthly limit in terms of how much money you can withdraw. If you over withdraw, banks tend to charge a fee for that. I actually recommend you look at the FDIC's website so you can check out the national average APY, or annual percentage yield. It tends to be pretty small and sad. But a lot of people will open up a high yield savings account. It's normally not that much bigger, but regardless, every penny counts. The next step to where your paycheck should go is an emergency savings account. I think so many people my age definitely underestimate it. Perfect example of 2020 and 2021 when we are in a pandemic. You never know what's going to go on or what life might bring or what kind of obstacles you might face. But it's so important to have an emergency bucket of money that's quick and easy to access. As a 20-year-old, obviously your first paycheck is probably going to really be going towards your rent, so you really want to try to at least target saving up for at least 1 month's expense. Eventually you want to build up to 3 to 6 months, then 6 to 9 months, and then over time work up to an entire year's worth of savings. An emergency savings really needs to be very liquid, very accessible. If you were to, for example, unfortunately get into a car accident tomorrow, you need to be able to withdraw that money quickly to be able to transport yourself to the hospital, pay for your medical bills, so anything that's quick and easy to access. The next step is your everyday needs and necessities. If you've taken a business class, you've probably heard the term Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So you can think of this as your basic bottom layer fundamentals of things that you need to survive. I'm talking your bare bones necessities.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
This definitely ranges for people at different ages and stages of their life. Some people might need to prioritize their health bill more so than others. Some people who live in big cities have bigger transportation costs. So it really depends. The next step, which I think is so important, especially if you've just graduated, is paying off your debt. Specifically, I want to focus on high interest debt. Generally, that comes with your student loan, credit card bills, anything that will accumulate interest very quickly over a short period of time. Your goal is to pay off that as fast as possible. I kind of like to think of debt as an annoying fly. The longer you leave it there, the more annoying it's going to get and the more it's never going to go away. I think it also comes with a good reminder to live below your means. Now we reach the fun part, your personal investments, and the first place you can put it is your Roth IRA. A quick definition for you, a Roth IRA is a tax-advantaged retirement savings and investment account that allows people to set aside after-tax income up to a specified amount. Generally that's $6,000 per year, and then when you reach the age of 50, you can contribute up to $7,000 a year. So I'm sure a lot of us have heard the term. Just to clarify, a Roth IRA is different from a traditional IRA. A traditional IRA is made with pre-tax dollars, meaning you usually get your tax when you withdraw that money based on your earned income from your investments. And I think Roth IRA is just a little bit better, especially if you feel like your tax bracket is higher when you'll be retired than when you're just starting out. What's really cool about a Roth IRA is that contributions can be made at any age as long as you have earned income. Contributing to your Roth IRA is definitely a marker of your personal financial independence and success.
Yes, queen, yes, queen, yes, queen! Yeah!
Because being able to contribute $6,000 to your personal investments every single year, that's a really big accomplishment, so you should be very proud of yourself. But that's not all you can do with the remainder of your paycheck. You can actually open up a standard brokerage account. which gives you a lot more freedom in terms of how much you can contribute. In your standard brokerage account, this is really the opportunity to kind of delve into different asset classes, whether it be stocks, bonds, mutual funds, index fund trackers, and ETFs. For my beginners, that I highly recommend you invest in an index fund or an ETF. If you have no idea how to invest in stocks or just want to get your foot in the water, this is the perfect way to start in a relatively risk-free and stress-free way. To define an index fund, it's basically something to track a market index. You can think of it almost as a huge basket, your individual companies or stocks as little eggs. I guess a chicken farmer is not exactly the best example, but roll with me here. Essentially, each individual egg is relatively fragile. If you put, let's say, 100 eggs together in a basket, you'll have a pretty strong basis, and that's the same thing that goes for stocks. Each individual stock or company might be affected by a lot of different risk factors, whether it be industry, individual company, performance, systemic risk, or even like things like the pandemic. Those all affect an individual company. But if you invest in the larger bucket of, let's say, 100 stocks, that definitely kind of diminishes that volatility. You can always go back and look at the individual companies listed or that are tracked, and then do your own research to see if you're interested in investing in that company. We as individual investors definitely cannot compete with big players on Wall Street like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Barclays, Merrill Lynch, who have hundreds and thousands of hours of research, people, data put into this to be able to create all of these investable products that we look at. I think one more thing to kind of highlight about index funds is their goal is to be able to track the market. Obviously, if you're someone who's wanting to delve a little bit further, you can kind of look into actively managed ETFs. Those products' goals are to outperform the market. One of the perfect examples, if you want to look at it, is Kathy Wood's and her ARK investments. Those are examples of actively managed ETFs. In the end, investing really is about risk and reward. If you want high reward, you got to take high risks. If you want low reward, you can take lower risk. But again, for a beginner, I would highly recommend to kind of stay on the more conservative side, build up progressively to it, and then become a little bit more riskier. One platform I actually highly recommend if you want to test out the waters but don't want to risk your actual real dollars is using the Market Watch game. It gives you an opportunity to kind of invest $100,000 of fake capital into real companies and be able to track their performance real time. So you can look at your personal strategies and see how that works out for you. Finally, we reach to the part where you get to treat yourself. I'm in my 20s, I love traveling, fitness, fashion, fun, food, but I am also someone who tends to be a little bit more frugal. But my parting message is live loud, live proud, but also live below your means. We kind of forget the fact that we've got to save up for our future family, any crises that we might face in the future, and just living comfortably in retirement. But yeah, that kind of concludes this video. I really just wanted to take a really big picture first in looking at how your paycheck travels from your employer to your checking account to your pocket and into the individual buckets depending on your lifestyle and how you want to build up your financial wealth. If you guys have any topics that you are interested in kind of delving into more that I just talked about, please let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Let's get smart, healthy, and wealthy together as we go along this fitness, fashion, food, and finance related journey. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!